everybody, it's Coach Mike from Soul Warrior Fitness, Nutrition, and Wellness, located in Beverly. Figured I'd get out into nature today, enjoy myself a little bit, but I also wanted to introduce myself, tell you a little bit about what I do and who I am, my background. I'm a Reiki and Shamanic energy healing worker, and I'm a personal trainer who specializes in movement therapy, but I also incorporate Shamanic and Reiki healing work to help a client heal from the inside out. I guide them to that place to allow them to be able to heal on their own, those wounds. Look, we've all been hurt. We've all had challenges. They usually stem from childhood. They stem from places where we've happened to encounter trauma of some sort. And in those cases, a lot of that trauma sometimes goes unhealed. And that unhealed trauma travels with us into adulthood. So what happens there is that if we don't heal those wounds, we're always acting from a place of trauma. So my specialty is helping clients bring that mind, body, and soul, the emotional state together through the work that I do. And again, helping people heal from the inside out. I do what I do simply because I've spent time on the path to healing. And that has given me a true gift. We're constantly on that path. It's just that for a long time, I never started to heal those wounds. And some of those wounds have been healed. And I continuously work on myself to make sure that I'm going through that process of healing. You're gonna spend a lifetime in this world when you start the process. That's just the way it is. I spent the last several years in different Reiki sessions with different practitioners, working on myself, getting out to nature, asking myself who I am at the core. And when you start to do those type of things, you start to align yourself with where you belong. Most of us flow through life, and that's just simple, okay? And here's what ends up happening when you start floating through life and you don't work on yourself. You align yourself in situations, or you align yourself with people that you don't belong with. So let me give you a perfect example of a particular wound that I had to notice and go through the process of healing. Relationships. I've done a lot of my learning and my growth has come from my relationships, be it personal, business, intimate, whatever they may be. That's where I've learned the most from. The example I'm going to use is the intimate relationships. I started to realize a pattern in my life. And that pattern was I was choosing the same person, but just in a different body. So they had all of these characteristics, their personality. A lot of it was the same, stemming back to each person as I looked back through time. And I started to ask myself, what's that one thing, that main thing that's the same in every one of those relationships? This guy. So, very simply said, it was me. I was the common denominator. So then I had to ask myself, well, why is it that I'm choosing these people? What is it about me that is causing me to choose those type of people, have those type of characteristics? And a lot of times what ends up coming up is the fact that they are trying to show you something within yourself that you need to heal. Now, those wounds and traumas that each one of us experience might not be the exact same traumas. Some people's traumas could be very exponentially higher depending on the type of situation or challenge they've gone through, but it's still a trauma nonetheless. So that trauma acts as a mirror. It's reflected back to you. And it says, hey, there's something going on within yourself. If you're aware enough, these are the type of things that you'll see. Now, inner child work is where that ended up for me. So I ended up on that path of working with my inner child because I recognized that pattern. Now that pattern for me in those relationships stemmed back from childhood. And those type of things carried forward into my adult life. So this is where I say it's super important to work on inner child work and shadow work. A lot of people ask me, what's the difference between both? Well, inner child work is very simple. We have an inner child within us, and they're always walking with us, side by side. They're right here with us. And we have to acknowledge them. We have to accept that we have one first, and then we have to acknowledge that they're there every single day. They're the ones that are poking at you when you're working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And they're the ones telling you, hey, you're not getting out, you're not having any fun. So you might be miserable, you might be stressed out. all those things that are happening, that comes from an inner child. Now it goes a little bit more in depth, and I'll get into that in later videos. But going forward, what's the shadow work? Shadow work is those parts of ourselves that we don't want to see. We don't like them. When we look in the mirror, it's the things that reflect back to us and say, I don't really like that about myself. And that's why a lot of us shy away from the shadow work. But if we really can get to a place where we can just be real with ourselves and say, this is something I don't like about myself, and we have the chance and opportunity to fix it, to heal those wounds, to figure out where they came from in the first place. So take the time. That's what I did. So that's why I do what I do today. I've had tons of life challenges and struggles in my life that I've had to deal with, tons of wounds that I've had to help myself heal and continue to do so. I come from a place of helping others now and wanting to help them get to a place where I am today. I do that in various ways, through Reiki healing and energy work, through shamanic healing sessions, journey work, and I combine the Reiki and shamanic ways to incorporate grounding techniques within Reiki, as well as journey techniques and other techniques within the shaman world. Those are the ways I work with clients in the energy healing world. I don't want to forget about my personal training background though, because it's huge. And it allows me to work with somebody in the movement therapy world. A lot of us with those traumas and those wounds, they get stuck within our body. And what ends up happening is that when they get stuck in our body, we need to release them. We have to help them find a way out. And that way out is usually by moving the body. Workouts, different types of exercise, walking in nature, doing whatever makes your body feel good. That's why we call it movement therapy. So today, that's how I help my clients. I look forward to meeting every one of you.